Well, it's time for the Friday live stream, and it's going to take a few minutes for people to jump on as always. And I need to know, well, I'll wait till more jump on before I ask that question. But what we're going to do today is I'm going to go through several new pickups. A couple of them I think are brand new. I don't think I've seen anyone else talk about them. And then I've got a bunch of other new stuff to talk about. And so as we normally do, I will talk about some fragrances. Then I'll go to the chat, answer questions, interact with y'all a little bit, dialogue, and then go back to some fragrances. So do me a favor, as you join, go ahead and click the like button and comment, and that'll help to get it in front of more people so more people can join. It always takes a good 5 or 10 minutes for a good crew to get on one of these. But in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and begin. So what we'll do is I'm going to start with a fragrance, talk about it for a minute, and then I'll go to the chat and we'll just go back and forth throughout the live stream. So first thing I'm going to mention, last week I talked about a clone brand that makes Extrait de Parfum dupes. They've actually got a decent selection on their website, and there was one of them, I couldn't remember what it was a clone of, and I looked it up to be sure that I got it right. The brand is LAYL fragrances, and they come in these little bottles. I think they're 2-ounce bottles, pretty decent atomizer. Pretty solid construction, really hefty metal cap, and a lot of juice. I'm already wearing something, so I didn't need that. But so anyway, so I've got 3 here. One of them I couldn't remember last week. I've got this one, which is a very, very good alternative to Parfums de Marly Leighton. It's called Silk Noir, very good. I've got a bunch of clones of Leighton, and there's a couple of them I don't, for some reason, there's I think it's the geranium note in some Leighton dupes. For some reason, the past year or so, I just don't like. And so this one is much smoother. I would say it's probably got the right level of that geranium, vanilla, that sort of warm, ambery, spicy balance. It's actually pretty close to the original. So that one's Silk Noir. Again, it's an Extrait de Parfum. This one I mentioned as well. It's a portrait of a lady dupe. But this is the one I couldn't remember. It's called Amyris Oud. And it is, just to give it to you straight here, give you the right one. It's, oh my gosh, now I'm not going to be able to find it. It's a, okay, my web page crashed. Well, that was anticlimactic. We'll go on and talk about some other fragrances. Oh, there it is. All right. So it's actually an Acqua di Parma Oud dupe. There you have it. And it's really good. It's actually a really good fragrance, and it's the type of oud fragrance that you could pretty much wear easily in the spring. It's spicy. It's obviously woody. It's got some citruses in there. Very pleasant, not overly sweet. It's more fresh spicy than warm spicy. So actually a really good oud fragrance that works great for the spring. So I just wanted to mention that because I forgot last week. Some of the new pickups I got. This one right here is one of the most frustrating, angering things I've picked up lately. It's called Hamidi Exotic Amber. And it's made by Maison Luxe, which is made by Sterling Parfums, which is Armaf. So same company that makes Armaf. The only reason that I bought it is because online, on Reddit and things I was seeing online, people were saying that this is a blonde amber dupe. Clive Christian Blonde Amber. And so I recently sampled Blonde Amber, maybe 6 weeks ago or so. I got a really good dupe of Blonde Amber from Generic Perfumes. And so I thought, man, if this is like a $30 Armaf dupe of Blonde Amber, then sign me up. So it took a while to get here. The first time I ordered it, it got lost in the mail, had to cancel, get a refund. So it was quite a process. I got it here yesterday, sprayed it all over me, like 6 sprays, 8 sprays. Number one, it's very, very strong, Number two, it is definitely not a blonde amber dupe. So do not be deceived. It is not a blonde amber dupe. And even now researching it more, which I've learned a lesson the last couple weeks, I have, just taken other people's word that a particular fragrance is a dupe of something that I like without doing the normal research that I would. This one I think I showed last week, which a viewer told me was a BDK Tobacco Rose dupe. It's not. It's really good. It's like a dark leathery vanilla tobacco rose fragrance. It's really strong, but it smells nothing like tobacco rose. And this one smells nothing like blonde amber. But here's exactly what it smells like. It smells like, literally, like you took, maybe an angel share dupe, or maybe even like Latafa Camra, and you smash it together with Xerjoff Herba Pura. So that's really what it smells like. It's got a very clear Herba Pura emphasis, and it's got a very clear, angel share or Camra, somewhere in between those two DNAs, angel share and Camra. So super, super sweet. You know how sweet the Camra DNA is. You know how sweet Herba Pura DNA is. And it's kind of overkill. I don't know. I'll try it again. But last night, I actually had to wash it off. It was mostly, I was expecting blonde amber, which I love, which is, spicy vanilla amber, this wonderful, warm, complex, spicy fragrance. It's a phenomenal fragrance, blonde amber is. It's the type of fragrance, to some degree, sort of in the family of like Parfums de Marly Altair or Byron Parfums, The Chronic, or even to lesser degree Nishane Ani, something like that. That's what blonde amber is. But this one just super sweet, super strong combo of something like Angel Share and something like Herba Pura. Now, if you don't have like an Herba Pura dupe or even Curke, something like that, then it would be worth picking up. It's inexpensive and it's very powerful. But man, here's what I want to ask you guys. Do you know of a readily available, so something I could order and have here in a week that's not going to come from overseas, that's not going to be overpriced, like, one of the big brand clone brands that makes an actually readily available Clive Christian blonde amber dupe? Because apparently Milestone makes one, or Emperor, but I've not been able to find it. You'll read online that Armaf makes one, and people are talking about this one, and it is definitely not a blonde amber dupe. So let me know in the chat if you guys know of a good blonde amber alternative, because I haven't found one yet. Generic Perfumes makes an incredible one, though. That's the one that I have. But, I like to be able to find stuff that's easy for you guys to get, and I can say, hey, here's a $30 100 ml really good dupe. That's what I would love to find. Even if it's 50, I don't mind to pay up, because usually prices come down, and then I can recommend it as a cheap alternative. So anyway, all right, so let me hit some of your comments here. Yeah, Drew is saying, I have Alexandria's Legally Blonde. It's great. Yeah, I agree. Like Alexandria, Dua, even Generic Perfumes, some of those, smaller, Dua is and Alexandria are probably too big to be called indie, but those kind of companies, they make a dupe of everything, including blonde amber, but per mil, they are very expensive. I just bought a couple more Dua fragrances. I've got one coming in the mail in the next day or two. I love their fragrances. They are so very good. They're strong. I'm actually going to talk about one of them today, but they're expensive as crap, like, $55 or $60 for 30 ml. They are Extrait de Parfum, so I think they're worth it, and you can usually get a discount code, and you can get like 2 fragrances delivered usually for less than $90, and I'm okay with that. But it's just not the same as being able to say like, hey, here's a $30 Latafa you guys need to pick up. So anyway, if you know one of the big brands that makes a dupe, let me know, and I would love to get a hold of it. All right, let's see. Fang is saying, is Herba Pura, does it have the same DNA as Xerjoff Accento? I have never smelled Accento, So I don't know. Does anybody know the answer to that? I have no idea. I've never looked at the notes, I don't think, of Accento. Yeah, and Drew's mentioning the Alexandria discount. True, the codes are true, but it's just the same deal, you know. Price per mil, you're never going to get an Alexandria or a Dua in the same ballpark as you're going to get an Armaf, Lattafa, Fragrance World, etc. I still buy them. I've spent too much money on Alexandria, Dua, and those other brands, but you know, they're great. It's just not the same as one of the big, you know, big companies, big 100 ml bottle. All right, let's see here. So Jen's Pins is saying, do you have YSL Myself? Please rate it. Funny enough, one of the fragrances I was going to talk about today is a Myslf Parfum dupe, which is actually very similar to the original Myself, but it's just a little more dense. I've got a landscaper outside. Let me know if it becomes too noisy. I don't know what I can do about it, but I've got a mic on today that hopefully will cancel out some of that noise. But so anyway, YSL Myself, I like it. I like it a lot as just sort of a daily wear. It gets compliments like, I don't think I've ever had anyone smell Myself or Myslf Parfum that didn't say, oh, it smells good. So it's a great fragrance. It's just, you know, for my personal taste, I like things that are a little more unique, artistic. Doesn't have to be expensive, but Myself is a great, clean smelling, very pleasant, attractive. Women actually really like that fragrance. So it's a great option. And here's a great cheap option for YSL Myself. I actually do prefer the Parfum just a little bit over the original. This is Frag Bar's dupe of YSL Myself Le Parfum. I was actually wearing this week, and I like everything about this. It performs well. It's very inexpensive. It's $26 for 30 ml, and I have a discount code down below where you get another 10% off. So 26, you know, minus 260, so about $23 for 30 ml, and you can get free shipping if you buy a couple things. So I think Frag Bar is doing it right. I mean, they did raise their prices a little bit. I just noticed, probably because of the tariff stuff. They raised their prices by probably like 5%. You know, it's okay. I wish they hadn't, but I get it, especially if they're importing things that are going to be highly tariffed. But anyway, this stuff is very, very good, very close to the original, and very inexpensive. So Frag Bar, I've got a link down below and a discount code. But in my opinion, a great alternative to Myself. Another one from them that I wore this week, I must have left it in the other room. They have a very, very good dupe of Penhaligon's The Omniscient Mr Thompson, which is an iris fragrance. It's like a sweet vanilla iris in the ballpark of something like Valentino Uomo Intense. And it is so very good. If you wanted to go place an order with Frag Bar, if you picked up their dupe of Tobacco Rose, BDK Tobacco Rose, YSL Myself, and the Omniscient Mr Thompson, those are three super impressive, super inexpensive dupes that you could get from Frag Bar. They also do an Azzaro Wanted by Night dupe that's very, very good. They do the Most Wanted Parfum dupe that's very good. So anyway, check them out. Very impressed with them lately. Let's see what else we got. Eva is asking, do I have kids? I do. I have 4 kids from ages 3 to 12. They are my joy. They are awesome. And I love being a dad. All right, Brownie Mac Chanel is saying, ever try Maison DRB Marine Blue, dupe of Louis Vuitton City of Stars? No, I have not tried that. And I don't think I've ever smelled City of Stars. So drop me a link in the comments. If you do it in the chat, it'll disappear on me. I don't know if I'll be able to access it, but the comments below the video, you know, if you have a minute, if it's not too much trouble, drop me a link. I will definitely check it out. All right, what else we got? Overseas says, hey, I have a Fragrance World Paradigm and that Maison Alhambra Herod clone on the way. Sweet. Very cool. Yeah, the Maison Alhambra Herod clone I wonder if you mean Fragrance World Paragon. I don't know what Paradigm is, not off the top of my head. But the Maison Alhambra Herod clone is like one of the best value buys. It's probably 85% close to the original. It smells almost identical, but the quality of the Parfums de Marly is like in another world. I mean, one thing Parfums de Marly does well is very wearable, approachable fragrances at insane quality. But the Maison Alhambra smells almost indistinguishable with, of course, significantly lower quality, and it's dirt cheap. You can usually get it on Amazon. It's called Hercules, unless they change the name because of their legal stuff. But I think it's still called Hercules, and it's like, $22 to $25 on Amazon. It's a really good pickup. So very cool. You will probably really like those. All right, what else we got? When are they going to make a Percival clone? It's an amazing fragrance. I cannot find a dupe. Agreed, and I think I have one for you. This one is sometimes called a Fierce dupe, but I actually think it's closer to Percival than it is to Abercrombie & Fitch Fierce. It's this Mercedes, I think it's just the original Mercedes Man, the one with the blue circle. It is, there's minor differences between Percival and Fierce. I think Percival is, maybe a touch sweeter, maybe just a tad less herbal. And in my opinion, this is closer. And online, you'll find people saying the same thing, that this may very well be a Percival dupe. That may be, what the deal is with the blue tinted glass here. But it's actually really good and really inexpensive. I really like it. So, really good stuff. See what else we got from you guys. I'll hit some other fragrances. What other good clones of Myself? There is a big Middle Eastern brand clone of Myself that I just recently saw. I don't have it yet, but I can tell you what it's called here. And in the chat as well, guys, as people are asking questions, feel free to put your own recommendations in there. I know you guys get recommendations from each other there. Let's see, what's it called? I just wrote it down recently. Well, oh, right there. So Zemaya has a Myself dupe. Zemaya Itqan Noir. Itqan Noir. Noir. So Zemaya, they actually do some really good clones. But Zemaya Itqan Noir apparently is a YSL Myself dupe. I don't have it yet. I'll probably pick it up, but that's a good one to check out. Let's see. Paradigm is a lighter version of Paragon. Okay, cool. Very cool. I like Paragon. I've got a bunch of dupes. I don't think I need another one, but it's a great fragrance profile. I've been on a real plum kick for the past few months, and I've picked up so many plum fragrances. The one I've got coming from Dua is actually a plum and cognac, Scents of Wood plum and cognac dupe. And then I also picked up another dupe. Lattafa now has a plum and cognac dupe. Lattafa Pride does. So I bought both of those. They'll be here in the next day or two or next couple days. And then Drew is saying Vintage Radio is so good. Get that if you want Paragon. Agreed. It's really good. To my nose, Vintage Radio is just a tad synthetic compared to either Paragon or even Lattafa does another Paragon dupe that I have, Al Neshama. Al Neshama is another Lattafa Paragon dupe. And I'm talking like a 5% difference. For some reason, there's certain synthetic notes that I'm very sensitive to. And I like Paragon, and it's fantastic performance, very close to the original. But to me, there's just a tad of a synthetic feel that I get. And apparently, not everybody does because you only hear positive feedback about that fragrance. So it's definitely a good Definitely a good option. Dello is saying, what do you think is the best aquatic, marine, fresh cologne fragrance? Man, there's a bunch of them. I mean, my favorite is, without question, is Kenzo Ohm EDP, the 2022 release, but it's very unique. It has a leather note. It's like an aquatic blue with a very distinct leather note. It's not a clone. I wish somebody would clone it. It is so good, and it's one of the strongest fragrances I own. I have jackets that have smelled like that fragrance for 3 months, and I have not sprayed it again. And literally months later, it'll stay on your clothes. But other than that, you know, there's a bunch of really good ones. You could go with, you know, Missoni Wave is really good, inexpensive. It's kind of somewhere in between like Versace Signature and Chanel Allure Homme Sport. You could go with Hollister Wave 2, which is kind of like, you know, an Invictus Aqua style, you know, smashed with a blue fragrance, something like that. You know, gosh, I could keep going, but let's see. You know, I actually I've done a couple videos lately that would have a lot of those in them. I just did a big one on citrus clones, and I would say about half of those are aquatic. And so you could definitely check that out and see what I have to say about those. All right, let me hit a couple other new fragrances. This one, I just released a video about a couple days ago. Really cool. I mean, it's like, it is today here in South Carolina. It is 63. Okay, it's actually been cooler the last couple days, but it's been in the 80s for the last week or two. So it's hot now, and this is not a good fit, but for evenings and, you know, whenever the weather isn't super hot, this stuff is really cool. It's Armaf Odyssey Dubai Chocolate. And this is a 2025 release, so it's new, and it's basically chocolate, pistachio, cardamom. There's like a hazelnut note. There's coffee, and so there's also like caramel and vanilla. So there's some very, very sweet gourmand notes, and the chocolate is like right off the atomizer in the air, and for the first 15 minutes when you spray it on, it is like powerful chocolate overload. Like, I would say I have another very strong chocolate fragrance that's actually very cheap that I'll show you. And this one is like as strong chocolate, although they're quite different. So this is a real good cheapie, Choco Musk by Al Rehab. If you don't have this one, you can get it on Intense Oud, which is, I've got them linked in the description with a discount code. It's like a $12 fragrance, and it is a powerful chocolate fragrance. Chocolate and vanilla is pretty much what you're going to get. It's pretty simple, but it's like pure gourmand. My wife loves it when I wear this. But this one is in a similar style, but it's much more complex, and I think definitely a very superior level of perfumery. But this one's really cool. So it's got those super sweet notes, powerful chocolate, caramel, that kind of stuff. But then it's got coffee, it's got cardamom, it's got pistachio and hazelnut. So there's also kind of a nutty vibe. There's a little crossover with something like Stronger With You or something like that, just a little. But that coffee and the nuttiness and the cardamom provide a very cool balance to that, like really strong chocolate and vanilla, those really sweet notes. So I've been wearing this. I got it on Sunday. It showed up in the mail, kind of a surprise. My son brought it out to me, and I've worn it out of the last 5 days. I've probably worn it 4 days in the evenings. So this is really, really good stuff. I've got a discount code below. You can get 12% off and free shipping, but you could probably also find it on Amazon. But really, really good stuff right there. Let me hit a couple more of your questions. Dello is saying, in my opinion, aquatic, fruit, citrus, and marine notes are the best notes. I personally don't like winter, autumn scents as much. Yeah, they're, definitely different categories of fragrances. And I hear you. Usually by the time we get around March, April, I'm ready for those aquatic, citrus, bright, happy, you know, fresh fragrances or even fresh spicy kind of fragrances. But I do love the darker, sweeter, spicier stuff. But in the summer, I don't wear them. Maybe in the evenings. So I hear you. You know, I know we've all got our own preferences, our own tastes. And I've been enjoying some fresher stuff now that it's warmed up. Although it's always a little bit bittersweet, a little sad when we come to the end of the, you know, the winter, and a lot of my favorite fragrances don't fit well anymore. Speaking of winter, fall fragrances, this is one I dug out over the past week. This is, it is literally one of my favorite fragrances I own. I mean, you can see I've used like half the bottle. This is Zoha Arcane. This is a phenomenal clone of Roja Enigma, or Creation E, depending on where you live. But it is like spicy root beer, you know, or spicy cola. It's awesome. It's actually a boozy. The notes are cognac, vanilla, tobacco, benzoin, black pepper, patchouli, but it smells indistinguishable from the Roja, and it performs amazing. I dropped the lid. It's got fantastic performance. It's like 10-hour fragrance. It projects very well. So anyway, I'm just mentioning it because I have a shelf over here that's like my favorite. My current favorites are on this shelf here, and I've got like 6 Zoha fragrances on that shelf. So I really like Zoha. I recently got a couple in that I don't really like from Zoha, but in general, I really like Zoha. This stuff is awesome. If you want a good Creation E or Enigma dupe, this stuff is fire. One of the ones I'm not so crazy about that I actually wanted to ask you guys about, this is Zoha as well. So I've never smelled Givenchy Play Intense. It's apparently some legendary discontinued fragrance. Very expensive on eBay. You know, a used bottle is going to cost you like 300 bucks. So this is Zoha's dupe of Givenchy Play Intense, and it doesn't smell bad. It smells good, but it's so different than what I expected. You've got notes. Again, the original is Givenchy Play Intense. In this one, you've got notes of mandarin, bergamot, coffee, pink pepper, tonka bean, patchouli. So with notes like coffee, tonka bean, patchouli, even pink pepper, I was expecting something, you know, with a little density, a little bit of spice, a little darkness from the coffee, but it's mostly a freshie. It's mostly, I get that mandarin and bergamot. I'm actually wearing it on this arm today, but I don't know because I've never smelled the original. So if anybody has ever smelled the original Givenchy Play Intense, let me know in the chat. Does it come across more fresh? I will tell you, it's not only, obviously, it's not only bergamot and mandarin. There is traces of those other notes, and maybe it just needs to macerate because, again, I've got a ton of their fragrances that I love. This one, I guess, was a little disappointing, though, because I was expecting something darker, sweeter, spicier, and what I got was something fresher with some nuances of, you know, coffee and spice and patchouli and that kind of thing. So if anybody ever tried the original, let me know. But if you want to pick up a dupe of it, I don't know of any others. This is Dark Rhythm, you know, I don't know what to think about it because it's not at all what I expected based on the notes, and I would prefer something darker, spicier, sweeter based on the notes as well. So, all right. What do we got? Glitch Rogers says, you ever smelled John Varvatos XX? I have, yep. I almost bought it a couple times. Does it smell like a cheap alternative to Grey Vetiver by Tom Ford? I don't know. I don't own it. I don't remember thinking that. To me, I always think of Grey Vetiver as being, you know, kind of a light, clean office fragrance. And it's been a long time since I've smelled the John Varvatos. So if anybody has it in the chat, maybe you could answer better for Glitch. I don't want to just make something up. I don't remember it smelling just like Grey Vetiver, but you know, it's been probably a year since I've smelled it. Fang says, Club de Nuit Intense versus Afnan Supremacy Not Only Intense. Which is higher quality and luxury? Well, I mean, if you're talking about Club de Nuit Intense, the original, the EDT, then I would definitely say Afnan Supremacy Not Only Intense. But if you're talking like the Parfum of Club de Nuit Intense Man, or even like the limited edition, or now there's even a couple that I haven't even smelled. There's two that have come out in the past year, I think, and I haven't smelled either of them. I've never been a big fan of Club de Nuit Intense Man EDT. It's been a couple years since I've smelled it. I used to have a bottle and I got rid of it because I couldn't get past the opening, you know, the kind of lemon cleaner smell. And my wife hated it. And I've got so many other Aventus dupes, you know, that I didn't hang on to it. But I do actually like some of those flankers very well. The Parfum, the limited edition. I think there's even an EDP that I've smelled. And, you know, those would be probably about par with the Afnan. But they're both great alternatives. I think the Afnan has a little bit, I don't remember if that's the one that's got a little bit of a Hasavat twist. But I think so. I think it's got a little bit of that kind of tartness, you know, a little bit of that green brightness from Hasavat, but I could be wrong. All right, what else we got? John Varvatos XX has a chocolate vibe that's not in Grey Vetiver. There you go. Yeah, that makes sense. Damn Sense is saying, I own the Varvatos and Tom Ford, and I don't think so. That's good. Thank you for answering those, because Lord knows there's a lot of stuff about fragrances that I don't know and a lot of stuff that I don't have. So what do you think is a good clone for The One by Dolce & Gabbana? So that is a great question, and I have a really good recommendation for you. Most people's complaint with The One is performance. And I don't complain about it personally. I have here is a really old bottle of The One. It's like probably 9 years old or something. It actually performs very well. But some of the newer formulations aren't as strong. Of course, the EDP performs a little better. You know what? I think I'm going to wear this tonight. I have not worn this in forever. Thank you for inspiring me. I'm going to wear this. I love this fragrance. This was my signature scent for probably 4 or 5 years. That and the original Le Male, I wore the crap out of them. But anyway, a good, inexpensive alternative for The One. This was actually sent to me by a viewer. One of only 2 times I've ever had a viewer send me something. Caesar sent it to me, but this is El Gonzo Friday edition, and it's probably 80% The One and like 20% La Nuit de l'Homme. So, you know, The One is like tobacco, citrus, cardamom, maybe there's black pepper, there's a few other things as well, but it does have cardamom. Well, this one has a little bit more La Nuit de l'Homme style cardamom in it, but it's still, again, like 80%, 85% The One, and it is powerful. It's like a 10-hour performing version of The One, and it is so good. I just have a bunch of things that smell like The One, so I haven't worn it that much, but it's very good, performs very well, and I'm going to go 80% The One and probably 20% La Nuit de l'Homme. But really good recommendation, and it's cheap. Like it's usually I've seen a bottle this size for like 20 bucks, 25 bucks, something like that. El Gonzo Friday edition. It's a really good option. All right, what else we got? Oh wow, I just did something. I don't know how I fixed that. Boom, there we go. All right. Scent of the day, Initio Rehab. Nice. Yeah, Rehab. That's the one that is like Spice Bomb, I believe. I mean, obviously there's major differences, but I got a sample of that a while back, and I love it. I love Spice Bomb, and to me, there was a lot of similarities with the original. It's like a niche version of the original Spice Bomb. Really good stuff. Oh, that's interesting. This Place's Bug says, hey, scent of the day is Spice Bomb. Off-topic question, what is your favorite masculine Mancera fragrance? It's got to be Red Tobacco. I love Red Tobacco. I like Red Tobacco Intense as well. I like them probably both equally. Red Tobacco Intense is not quite as sweet, and it's got a powerful leather note. I would say if you like powerful leather notes, go with the Intense. If you don't, go with the original Red Tobacco, but it is nuclear powerful. And it's a very aggressive fragrance. It is not for a mild-mannered, soft-spoken person. It's like, I am here and my fragrance is going to, knock you down. And but I really like it. It's good. Oh, and I really like Oud Vanille, which is obviously an oud vanilla fragrance, but what it smells like is vanilla and leather. It's a particular kind of oud that comes across kind of leathery, but that's really good as well. All right, let's see here. What else we got? Williamson is saying, is it safe for me to do a full blind buy of generic perfume, or would you say everything would be accurate? I don't know about everything. I will tell you that, I've got a bunch of fragrances from them, and I love, like, legitimately love about half of them. And then the other half, they sort of range from I like them to they're very good. But, I mean, they clone everything. And I'm trying to think of an instance where I got something from them that I wasn't a fan of. Maybe like there's a few Creed dupes that I got from them that I didn't love, but it's just because the Creed fragrances are not, my favorite DNA. Like Spice and Wood it's a great dupe, but it's sort of like a dry, woody fragrance with like a sharp spiciness. Same would be like Creed. The oud, there's a fresh green oud fragrance. Oh, Royal Oud. Same deal. I've never smelled the original Royal Oud, but Armaf does a dupe of Royal Oud. And the generic perfumes is pretty similar to that. I would say a little higher quality. And it's just not my favorite DNA. So I guess I'm rambling a little, but I would say in general, I think they do a very, very good job. One of the fragrances I was going to show you today is actually from them. I love their dupe of Absolute Aventus. I still like Armaf Pre-Show 1 better, but this one smells more like the Creed. The Armaf is got a good bit of extra sweetness. It's got pear and caramel in the top, which I absolutely love. Sweeten up a DNA that I really love. But this one is closer to the Creed, and it's so powerful. I will tell you, when I got this one, I wasn't that impressed. It took about a month or two for it to really macerate. I actually wore this yesterday, and it took some time for it to really become awesome, but 6 months later, this stuff is incredible. Their version of Absolute Aventus. All right. Drew is saying, I settled on Roja Scandal Clone as my Fougere office scent. Nice. Jack of Clubs is also nice in that realm. Yep, Jack of Clubs is very nice. Let's see here. Low-key Amazon beats a lot of prices. Yeah, Damn Sense is saying low-key Amazon beats a lot of prices. I agree with you, man. I buy a lot of fragrances from Amazon. Whenever I did my taxes this year, the last couple years, whenever I total up my Amazon purchases of fragrances, it's too much money. I mean, thankfully the channel pays for it. Like, there's no way I would have all these fragrances if it weren't for the revenue from the channel, because I pretty much put the channel money back in. But point being, why do I buy from Amazon? It's because their prices are better than a lot of places. You've got Frag Bar, FragranceBuy.ca, that has incredible prices. They will often beat Amazon prices. You got Joma Shop. Every now and then FragranceNet, has... FragranceNet used to be the go-to, but their prices have kind of crept up over the past few years. All right, what else do I got? And then I'm going to wrap it up soon. Just kind of reporting back about a couple of these. I think I mentioned a couple of these last week. This one, Coconut Lagoon, is so very good. It's not a Virgin Island water dupe, but it is absolutely in the family. This one is like, it's an Aroma Concepts and Paris Corner collab, I believe. At least that's the way it was listed, but Aroma Concepts is not listed anywhere on the bottle, so I could be wrong about that. See if I could find the box. But, you know, Aroma Concepts and Paris Corner did a collab with this fragrance, which is really good. I don't wear it much because it literally smells like watermelon Jolly Rancher candy. But this is a very inexpensive watermelon fragrance that Aroma Concepts and Paris Corner did a collab on. And on Amazon, I think I got this 50 ml for like $17. This one was more like in the low 30s. But man, if you don't have a Virgin Island water dupe, you know, for some reason, the big brands are not cloning Virgin Island water, which I think is crazy. It's one of the best, you know, tropical fragrances ever made. And so this is probably only 75% similar, but it's still quite similar to Virgin Island water. It's just so good. You know, it's like a gourmand coconut, fresh, ozonic fragrance. And man, I love it. I've probably worn this 10 times since I got it. Couple other updates. This continues to be a nuclear explosion riff on Nitro Red. Nitro Red Intensely Extrait de Parfum. So strong and so good. It's just a little spicier than the original Nitro Red. It's got a little bit of a different fruitiness. Like to me, the watermelon is significantly weaker. There's also some peach, giving it just a little bit more of a different, you know, not as playful. You know, peach is a little more dense kind of a sweetness, but really good stuff. Pretty redundant if you have the original, but man, it's good and it's strong as crap. I've got a discount code and a link down below if you want to pick it up. And then finally, this one, still loving this as well. I did a video on this last week, but man, this stuff is so good and so different than what I was hearing. I was hearing people making crazy comparisons like Herba Pura or, you know, Ultramall, JPG Ultramall. And I don't think it smells anything like any of those. It's actually very unique. It's an amber, citrus, fresh, spicy fragrance. Powerful citrus, dense amber, which those two right there, you hardly ever get a fragrance that takes, you know, like a warm, dense amber and mixes it with like a very bright citrus and then adds fresh spiciness as well. I think there's some mint and some other fresh spicy notes. But if you want a unique freshie for the summer, go with this stuff right here. It's strong. I think it smells awesome. I've gotten really good feedback already from this one. I actually got a compliment from a random person. Somebody pulled up next to me in a car. I'm trying to remember who it was. Maybe it was a delivery person, and they said, whatever you're smelling, it smells amazing. I think it was like maybe like a food delivery driver or something like that. So anyway, that may be about it. Let me hit a couple more of your questions. I know I set some other fragrances out here, but oh yeah, one last thing. This has been puzzling the crap out of me. So I love this fragrance, Latafa Badi Al Oud Honor and Glory. I've talked about it a lot. It's been hyped. You guys probably already know about it. But here is what is freaking me out. You know, this is a vanilla creme brulee, spicy aromatic fragrance. And I have loved this ever since it came out. But this week I tried to wear it twice and there was like a bitter vetiver note or something that was just really hitting my nose the wrong way. I've probably worn this fragrance 30 times and I have never experienced that before. And so my kids have all been sick. I got 4 kids. I've wondered if they have COVID because all 4 of them have been sick over the past couple weeks. And I've wondered, did I get just a touch of COVID just to mess up my smell a little bit? But I have always loved this for that vanilla creme brulee, spicy, aromatic goodness. And all that's still there, but there's some like bitter vetiver note in this that was really off-putting. I washed it off the first time I sprayed it on this week. And this has been like top 20 fragrances for me. So I'm just curious if any of you have had a similar experience, or, you know, is my nose wrecked because of COVID? I don't know. But has anybody ever had that with this one? Just sort of a bitter note. And I think it's like a vetiver or like a particular kind of musk that really doesn't agree with me. Musk is one of those funny notes that we all perceive musk differently. Or maybe there's like 20, you know, nose profiles that perceive, you know, musk in 20 different ways. And it might be a particular kind of musk, because the other thing about musk is, like, if there were 10 of us in a room and there were 4 musk, like 4 different musk fragrance chemicals, statistically, 5 of us would be able to smell 2 of them, and 5 of us would probably be able to smell the other 2, or maybe there would be some crossover. But my point is, there are some musk that I cannot smell that you can smell, and vice versa. That's why they often will use a musk accord whenever they're building a fragrance. Because a lot of musk are similar, but they build a number of them together so that it hits the greatest number of people. So I just wonder, like, did something shift in my sense of smell that now I'm picking up something that's always been here that I didn't get before? Or is it just I got something going on with my sinuses and a week from now it will be resolved? But I have had that happen many times where I go back to a fragrance and something about it smells very different. Or you go back to a fragrance that you used to hate, you go back to it a year later and now you love it. That happens frequently to all of us. Let me know your thoughts about that in the chat. Just, it's so crazy how that works. Our biology and all of the, you know, all the different fragrance chemicals. All right, what else we got? Glitch Rogers is asking about the Atomic Rose clone. You know, I don't have an Atomic Rose clone. I need to get one. I think that, I know Fragrance World makes one. You know what? I'm going to pick one of those up today. I used to hate rose fragrances, and these last few months I've been falling in love with rose fragrances. And I kind of forgot about, I remember a year or two ago, there was a lot of Atomic Rose clones coming out, and I didn't like Atomic Rose, so I never got one. But I bet I would love it now. So thank you. But in the comments, in the chat, let's let Glitch Rogers know what is a good Atomic Rose clone, and I will pay attention as well, because I'm going to pick one up today. Thank you for jogging my memory on that. All right, KK says, I hear people saying the same things about the purple one from the same line, like it goes bad over time. Yeah, I hope that's not what is happening. I have had that happen with a Lattafa before, a little bit, but what's it called? Amir Al Oud Intense did change significantly over time. You know, that is an oud fragrance. It's synthetic oud, but it's a by the fireplace inspired scent, but it's got a real strong synthetic oud note in it. And my bottle has changed a lot over time. That synthetic oud has got a little more funky. And it's not that I dislike it now, but it smells a lot different than it did whenever I got it. I think a better option is Ace of Spades is a much better, Fragrance World Ace of Spades is a much better option for by the fireplace. That Amir Al Oud Intense is more oudy, more smoky, more sweet. So anyway, yeah, so they do change over time, and sometimes they do go a little bit bad. Oh, wow, so Heart Ben says, I can't smell BR540. That is really interesting. And I wonder if that is honestly COVID related. COVID has forever changed the olfactory capacity of the earth. Like, I mean, whatever, but definitely genetically engineered, you know, and I hate that. But I think it'll be a long time before we fully understand the impact that it's had on our sense of smell and taste and other things. But it could very well be the fragrance chemicals in BR540, you're just kind of immune to them. It is a very transparent fragrance, and I love it. I still love it. I am not sick of BR540 yet. My wife, she got sick of it a long time ago and all of the clones, but I love it. Try the Extrait if you haven't, or try a good dupe of the Extrait because it's got more going on. It's more dense. And All Haramain has a really good dupe of the Extrait. Amber Oud Ruby Edition is the Extrait, or is it Rouge? I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. But anyway, it's a really good dupe of the Extrait. And, you know, there's like a burnt sugar and an almond accord. Ruby Edition is an inexpensive Extrait dupe. So anyway, maybe you'll have better luck with that. What else we got? Drew is saying, okay, he's saying he's read in Fragrantica that it does have a bitter element, that this fragrance has a bitter element. So that's interesting. I hope that changes, man, because I love this fragrance, and I hope that funkiness is not there forever. And Glitch Roger says, yeah, my dad used to love cologne and he got COVID. Now 9 out of 10 of them he smells are way too strong for him and mess with his taste too. Yeah, man, I'm telling you, what an evil virus. What an evil sickness. Drew is asking, have you tried Latafa Cad Intense? Yes. Yeah, I do. I have it. And to me, it is very similar to this fragrance. To me, it's very similar to Givenchy Gentleman EDP. It's really like a cross between Givenchy Gentleman EDP and Givenchy Gentleman Reserve Privé. It doesn't have a whiskey note, but other than that, it's like Reserve Privé. It's kind of right in the middle of Gentleman EDP and Gentleman Reserve Privé. It's actually really good, and it's cheap when you can find it in stock. I think Fragrance Buy is where I got it. It was out of stock everywhere for a long time, but you could probably get it now, probably 25, 30 bucks. And if you like, or if you don't have Givenchy Gentleman EDP or Reserve Privé, then this would be actually a really good alternative. Even though it doesn't list an iris note, it still smells very close to them. So, all right, I think I'm going to have to end it there, guys. Yep. I think I'm going to have to end it there. Yeah, there's no more questions anyway. So I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. Thank you so much for joining. I try to always do these on Friday around 3 o'clock. That's when my wife is gone to go get my kids and I'm done with my work for the day, with my business, my nonprofit that I run. So anyway, it's a great time. It works for me. Hopefully it works for you guys too. And you'll be back next Friday around 3 o'clock. I'll see you then. I got tons of videos coming out. I got one coming out this weekend, a bunch next week. I got a bunch of new clones in. So anyway, I will see you soon. Thanks so much for joining, everybody.